Yes, sir, you can.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yes, sir, we can see that. Yes.
मुकुंदरांचा फक्त फोटो मला वाटते ठीक आहे you can change this. Okay, so we start.
Yes, sir, we can start, sir.
So first and foremost, hearty welcome to Dr. Mukund Hanumante. I'll just introduce briefly. Dr. Mukund या आमच्या forum मध्ये the wave of faith. We welcome you, and we are all blessed by your presence itself today. I'll just introduce you briefly, whatever I could gather information about you. Dr. Mukund Hanumante, a prolific personality on the spiritual path. He is a founder of Akkalkot Swami Foundation, a public charity trust in Louisiana State in USA. To spread the teachings and philosophy of Sri Swami Samartha has been the major objective of this trust. The trust has also aided many projects the world over in raising funds for noble causes. Dr. Hanumante has also written books like Glimpses of Divinity, which many of you must have read, which has also been translated in Marathi and in Gujarati especially. It has already been translated in so many other languages like Hindi, Telugu, Kannada, and French too. He has also written books like Eternal Friend on Sri Swami Samartha. And I think this also, I believe, is available in many other languages. He has also the mission of universal peace and auspiciousness services. Several Rudrahavan offerings, presentations have been performed to purify the consciousness at the individual and societal level and enhance the positive energy attractor fields. These were conducted for the last 6 years in various places like New Orleans, Houston, Dallas, Detroit, Phoenix, Los Angeles, San Jose, Yogaville, Richmond, Jacksonville, Chicago, New York, Sarasota, Seabrook, Indianapolis, Lafayette, Kolhapur, and in France, South Africa, Australia, and India. So I welcome this great personality. And in the Swami Samartha Parivar, Dr. Mukund Hanumante is a big name. I know him personally as a very close associate of Swami. Many of times, he has contacted me to give Swami's messages. And actually, I mean, I consider him to be a messenger of the Swami, or Swami unke muh se baat karte hain, aisa main manta hu. I have a great regard for Dr. Mukund ji. और आज मैं बड़ी प्रसन्नता से आप सबको बधाई देता हूं कि ऐसी बड़ी हस्ती आज हमारे फोरम में आ गई है. So thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Mukund Hanumante, and you are welcome. And I give this forum to you. अभी आज you can talk in Hindi, English, or English predominantly. Most of them understand, but Hindi would have been also in between a good idea. So thank you very much, and yeah, I hand over to Dr. Mukund Hanumante.
Om Shri Swami Samartha. Gurunam Guru Anantakoti Brahmanda Nayak Rajadhiraj Yogiraj Siddharaj Bhaktavatsala Bhaktabhimani Bhakta Samrakshak Bhakta Bhagya Vidata Shri Akkalkot Nivasi Swami Samartha Maharaj Ki Jai. अवधूत चिंतन श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सब संतन की जय सब मानव मूर्तियों की जय. It is a wonderful privilege and a pleasure among us, the known and unknown friends across the continents, but mostly in the holy land of Bharat and the Karma Bhumi of America. I salute you as a dedicated servants to the humanity and the creation. As I understand, most of you have been engaged in Agnihotra and chanting and or Swahakar of Shree Rudra. So it is such an honor to have a human body, which doesn't happen to every soul in all the births. So this is one of the biggest blessings for anyone, is to have a human body, because only in the human body, the nervous system and the brain can be prepped to experience the perfect bliss and joy. It is only in the human body one can realize the greatest self that we are. We have emanated from Swami, but been surrounded by the clouds that we have gathered around us, so we are not aware of our great grand potential. So obviously right now in many countries, but especially India, very challenging times are there because of Corona. But let us understand, somebody define Corona, one who is on the spiritual path. Corona. Kara Rosa Namasmaran becomes Corona. Now that has a very potent recipe to get over the Corona. If one does Corona, then Corona will not have the impact and you will be victorious. Obviously, this battle needs to be at the multiple level, and I'm sure you're all engaged in the different dimensions, taking care at the societal level, social distancing, masking and vaccine and other supplies, doctor's advice and so forth. We here are discussing a tool that has been given by the human caretaker, being Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayaka, Akalkot Swami Samartha Maharaj is the current caretaker for the entire humanity. And through various medium, through variety of his instruments, he has given different solutions, different formulas, different recipes for the protection of the devotees. And this, what Ajit sir has been propagating for several decades, besides the healing through Reiki Madhyam, Reiki medium, also the Agnihotra. And along with the Agnihotra, which is the basic yajna for any one of us to purify the immediate surrounding as well as inside. When Shree Rudram is added to that, that efficacy is multiplied many folds. Why is so important? Rudra is a sonic form of the divine supreme. So it's a Dhvani avatar. So you can call it Swami Ji ka Dhvani avatar hai. and it has been given special powers during the Kali Yuga to usher in the peace, prosperity, health. This has originated in the Vedic, during the Vedic times, when several thousand years ago, ancient rishis were in a very heightened state of awareness in meditation. This knowledge, the Vedas, the root word being vid, means to know. So Ved is nothing but embodiment of knowledge. It was downloaded instantly in the minds of meditating sages, and then they were codified. So Rudra is a part of, from Yajurveda, especially Krishna Yajurveda. And if you look at the word Rudra, the meaning, there are several meaning ascribed to the word Rudra. But for devotees, for the seekers, the word Rudra, the meaning that is most meaningful is the one who wipes out the tears is Rudram. One who grants the energy is the Rudram. And when you go a little bit inside Rudra, there are two major parts. One is Namakam, and the second one is Chamakam. In the Namakam, there are 11 sub-chapter, they call Anuvaks. Why is Namakam called Namakam? If the question arises, is because most of the stanzas or the shlokas, you will see word Namo or Namaha. So that's why it is called Namakam. It is very interesting if you flip the word Nama, so it becomes Mana. So the mind has become Nama. So the significance for a seeker and the devotee is Nama. The meaning is surrender or salutation, but also another meaning is Nama, not mine. And that is approximately 300 times we hear that sound when chanting the Namak. And the brain and the neurons, they are rewired based on the sounds that we hear. And in the path of spiritual salvation and getting closer to the proximity of the Supreme Consciousness, divine, our dearmost Swami, the only hurdle is the ahankar or ego. So when I repeat word Namaha, means I'm surrendering, I'm saluting, I'm holding, anchoring to his feet, but also, and not mine. So it starts acting like a sonic scissors and cuts the ego. It cauterizes the ahankar, ego. And that is one of the impact on the bionic and biological reconfiguration. So recalibration happens, and that leads to the purification. Besides the chants of Rudra, the Namakam, as the waves are created, they dissolve the waves of fear. And in the modern times, one of the self-help gurus have defined fear as a false evidence appearing real. That is a fear. So only way to counteract is the knowledge, and the sonic waves created by the chants of Rudra, they energize, they remove the inner toxins from 72 lakh or more subtle nadis in the body. So purification of the heart, purification of the mind, purification of the body, and purification of the environment. So this wave created counteracts and dissolves the wave of fear. In Namakam, you will find the paradoxes, because God also is a paradox. In the description per the Rudra chants is you will find this divine or consciousness in a small atom, as well as in the occupying simultaneously all the galaxies, in a drop of water and all the oceans that you can find, and in a grain of sand and all the mountains, all the planets. So this is the paradox. But at the same time, one of the characteristics is Swami's heart, or any divine entity that is dearmost to you. Their heart melts at the faintest sign, faintest smell of unconditional devotion. And even though Swami is called Bandhanatita, he is boundless but not bounded by anything except the pure unconditional love and devotion. And that is also characteristic described in the Rudram. And for the seeker, for the devotee, and especially in the current atmosphere of fear, one of the stanzas describe that the God, the Rudra, runs after the devotee to protect him. So if this is, these are some of the assurances given in the Rudram. And I'm sure those who have been practicing regularly, whether daily or weekly, etc., you all have experienced a profound uplifting of the energy, your mind, and experience a very calm centering after the Rudra. But the beauty of the Rudra chants is not confined only at the realm of the spiritual development. It is also at the material progression, material and worldly accomplishments and contentment. So there in the second main division of Rudra is the Chamakam. I mean, that is Chame. The Chame, or that's how it has been described as a chamakam. Chame means include me too. Don't forget me in distributing all the goodies, whether it is the palaces, it is the physical health, it is the mental health, accomplishment, name, fame, etc. And there are 367 worldly benedictions have been asked in the Chamakam, and the divine assures that they will be granted. So it is a divine prescription to overcome the maladies at a worldly as well as at the spiritual levels. So you can call it Rudra as an ancient remedy for the modern maladies. One can wonder how is this is able to be accomplished. There are many examples of the Rudra helping, the Rudra chants, Rudra Swahakar, Rudra Abhishek, in removing the hurdles, etc. By linking more than one, what we call ritviks, those who are experts in chanting with the proper pronunciation, intonation, and have the protocol, etc. There, by bringing them together, and that number usually is considered at 11 as very potent. And in that multiples, the Rudra chants, 11, one round, if it is done 11 times, becomes Ekadashni. And then if it is done another 11 times, that is total of 121 times. So there are, then it becomes Maharudra, Atirudra, and so forth. The benedictions that are showered, if we just go and take a look at some of the research that has been happening in the Western sciences, a couple of names. One is the Sheldrake, Rupert Sheldrake, scientist who explained the concept of M fields or morphogenetic fields. These are the invisible fields, or you can call clouds of sounds. So any accomplishments, like somebody climbing the Mount Everest, that is originally, when it happened, it is a major accomplishment. So it has created a M field. Somebody winning an Olympic medal in 8 minutes, 100-meter race, that becomes another M field, morphogenetic field. So basically, any thought, any accomplishments, whether individually or on a group basis, creates a morphogenetic field, or M field for short. So depending upon the quality of the accomplishment, quality of the thought, it will depend whether that energy is uplifting, life-sustaining, or life-draining, or destructive, or negative. And most of you being the students of Reiki are more knowledgeable and familiar about the importance of right thinking, positive thinking, as it immediately generates a life-sustaining light and energy. So coming back to these M fields, when similar thoughts are qualitatively a good uplifting thought, as the sound is or like any energy, neither created nor destroyed. So sound energy is eternal. Once released, it keeps on pulsating and will come back sooner or later to the originator. So when in times like this, right or wrong, the media emphasizing the suffering, not to belittle the suffering, but if it is emphasized, it gets magnified. And that itself adds further to the suffering. And this is not restricted only for Corona times, but the negative energies are also created by different media besides at the human individual level. You all know the impact from the Bollywood and the Hollywood horror stories and movies. Now, if what happens is there are 7.2, maybe 7.3 billion human beings on this earth. And even if you say only 7 billion people are capable of thinking, if I look within my own mind to see how many thoughts I'm thinking in a day, and they are countless, then how many thoughts are productive, positive, uplifting, nurturing, not only to me, but to my surrounding. And then I know that there is a lot more work needs to be done within myself. And the David Hawkins, using the kinesiological technique, he is a psychiatrist, and also he worked with a Nobel Prize winning author also. His research has shown that a single thought, even though the thoughts are inaudible to the human ears, but they can be measured. The strength. And what they found that 85% of the population is below a level of consciousness. The scientists created a grading. It is an artificial scale 1 to 1,000. The 1,000 is the purest wave of love, light, illumination, peace, etc. And then they came down at a level of 600 and above is a predominance of pure love. Then majority of the mankind is below 200, where the basic worry, anger, fear, and as the scale comes down, the more and more negativity is prevalent. So even a single thought coming from a person below 200, they put a log. I mean, it is unfathomable, but like a single thought from a person who calibrates below 200 level of consciousness has the capacity 10 raised to the power minus 700 micro million watts. I cannot even fathom that. But if why it is important in this counteracting the fear, the way with the wave of faith, is such thoughts gather together like a clouds, like a birds of same feather coming together. So these coalesce, they come together and become clouds. And sooner or later, they will start sending the rain. And that rain will be rain of negativity. Now, to counteract, only the uplifting, benign, positive sound waves can be used to neutralize those clouds. And the Rudra Spandanas, whether one just chants, even listening, sends those Spandanas. And they add to the auspicious sound beams. And without this is a standing energy, but without going anywhere, it can go everywhere. And that is what is the description of the Supreme Divine. And devotees and seekers like you who are constantly allocating time for meditations, for special prayers, especially Agnihotra and Rudra, my hats off to you, because you are doing the work that Swami is doing to keep this universal energy in balance. Even though it may appear very small, but it does add to the buoyancy of the cosmic consciousness. So in this turbulent times, the only anchor we all have is Rudra, because everything changes, but the Supreme Consciousness is the unchangeable in this ever-changing manifestation of the universe. And I remember a story shared by my spiritual mentor, Vishwanath Gadre. We used to call him Nana Gadre. He was visiting Ahmednagar, and there was one doctor, Dr. Dhaneshwar, a great disciple of Shree Shankar Maharaj. And when he went there, after the initial exchanging protocols, welcome, there was a ceiling fan was running, and Dr. Dhaneshwar, he took out his cigarette and lighted it. Whereas the other people who were wanting to do that, they couldn't do it because the air that was circulating from the fan. So they asked, can they stop the fan? And Dr. Dhaneshwar said, well, all you have to do is anchor yourself to the center of the fan, which is not moving at all. So the point is, if we anchor to Swami, to Rudra, or to your own spiritual preceptor, if you have one, then you have an unshakable foundation. And now, since we are talking about Akkalkot Swami Samartha, his manifestation, his avatar happened, and that story I'm going to share to illustrate the point that he manifested simply to befriend the humanity. He's eager to come and help each one of us. It was in Chelikeda, in the modern, near Hastinapur. In the Hastinapur probably is in Haryana, I believe, in the modern or northern part of India. 884 years back, there was a child, about 8-year-old child, who was fond of playing by himself. So he used to play by himself. And then on one such fine mornings, he decided to have a game of marbles. Now he was in Vijay Singh, his name, that child. And what he used to do was Gotek. So he will play for 10-15 minutes. And now he would say, well, Narayana means addressing to the Supreme Divine. Now, come on, now it is your turn. So you play with me. And then he would just go around and start playing. So on one such fine mornings on Chaitra Shuddha Vidya, Thursday, the game started. Vijay Singh invoked Narayana, and a brilliant, radiant 8-year-old boy just sprang from the earth. Prithvitun Prakatle Swami. Ani Gamgamat Sutla, Kesharacha. And he said, okay, let us play. And the game continued. So the supreme consciousness condensed in the human body just at the call of an 8-year-old child to come and play a game of marbles, Gotia. So the point is, it is his DNA, his heartbeat and pulse is nothing but friendship. Sanskrit मध्ये सखा म्हणून शब्द आहे, तर त्याचा सख्यत्व, सख्यत्वासाठी ते आलेले. So it is very easy to shake hands with the form of Swami, because he is eager, and he of course he is also Smartrogami. And originally Ajit sir asked me to say something on Shree Guru Yativar. So I will say a few words and then we'll stop, or if there are any questions, etc. Shree Guru Yativara Bhava Bhaya Dustara. This sometimes in early, maybe it is 2002, 2003, when we were visiting Pune, where my mother and brother, they live. We were doing Rudra that morning, Rudra home. And there was one family, surname Joshi, Hematai Joshi, and Sudhakar Rao Joshi. They have been wanting to come and meet me. So they had come. And after the Rudra, they asked, okay, is it okay for them to share a song or a bhajan. So I said, okay, go ahead. So that's when I heard first time in my life that Shree Guru Yativar Bhava Bhaya Dustara. And it appealed to me, it enraptured me, and Vaijayanti, my wife, Dharma Patni. So we both immediately decided that we will do this invocation every time we do Rudra. Or we do it any other time also, but especially for Rudra. Because the first stanza says, Bhava Bhaya Dustara, remove the fear immediately, and he is constantly listening. Nistara Satvara Shree Swami, Bhakta Krupakara Dhyana Ruchira. So, Krupakaran, make my meditation, my dhyan, flawless. And then, of course, it flows, you all know, towards the end, Kalpa Vruksha. So he's a wish-fulfilling tree on the earth. Because even though physically it is not possible to see him for most of us, but some of us are fortunate enough. And he is prevalent everywhere without going anywhere. He is like a center everywhere, but circumference nowhere. And that's why he's called wish-fulfilling majesty. And the prescription that was revealed last year, that was also shared with Ajit sir, that came, and that message was shared with on the Swadhyay over here. And then I think it got into the hands of all the students and devotees of Ajit sir. So with this, I humbly bow down to Akalkot Swami Samartha for this wonderful opportunity, and very grateful to Ajit Telang sir and all of you who have been the torch bearers of Agnihotra, as well as the Rudra chants and Swahakar during this turbulent time. This is a marvelous work, and no matter how many Rudra Swahakars or Rudra chanting wonders, that's not enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mukundra. It was very enlightening. So a lot of people had been asking for whether it could be in Hindi or Marathi also, but definitely I think they got a gist. And if anybody has a question, किसी को सवाल है, आप हिंदी में पूछ सकते हो, मराठी में पूछ सकते हो, इंग्लिश में पूछ सकते हो. And I'm sure Dr. Hanumante ji will definitely answer all these questions. आज हमारे साथ ऐसे हस्तियां हैं, Dr. Hanumante जैसे. I think we are already blessed on our mission, the mission of faith. हाँ जी.
Jai
Yes,
Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
I want to ask about morphogenetic field that he described. Means what is exactly that morphogenetic field?
M forms or morphogenetic field, when whatever thought, whatever action one does, it leaves a residue. If it is a good action, a good statement, or positive statement, the residue is good. But that is in a subtle, invisible form. That's why I call, like, you can consider it as invisible sound cloud. That's M field. So whenever there are accomplishments, extraordinary accomplishments, like climbing the Mount Everest, winning an Olympic gold medal, etc. These accomplishments create a inspirational, invisible cloud energies that they gather together, and one can tap into that. So that's why I say, when I'm inspired, when I'm in spirit, I get inspired because I'm connected with the divine consciousness. So then there are a lot of information starts flowing. Rupert Sheldrake, if you research, you will be able to get some literature, and then it will provide you more information.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I think David Hawkins calls it a cloud of consciousness, right? The database of consciousness. And that is available to everybody. ये भी ध्यान में रखना कि हम लोग अच्छा कुछ काम करते हैं, that is morph there. That's what is called morpho, has come from there. It is already superimposed on that cloud, and it is there for everyone to have it. And that's what the whole idea of kinesiology is basically there. Yeah, so thank you so much for asking this question. Yes, and probably over a period of time we'll discuss this in details as we go along. Thank you, Mansiji. Yes, anybody else? Yeah. Shashikant Banu. Jai Guru.
सर मी हनुमंते सरांना विनंती करतो, स्वामींचं दर्शन कसं त्यांना हे झालं ते जर शेअर केलं तर मोठा आनंद मिळेल सगळ्यांना. We will be blessed if he can share in Hindi or Marathi. Sir, I am audible?
हा, म्हणजे तुमचा प्रश्न की स्वामींचं दर्शन झालं का असं?
नाही नाही, कसं दर्शन काय झालं किंवा त्याचा अनुभव जर आम्हाला मिळाला तर.
हा, तर हे स्वामींचे दर्शन झालं असं मी कुठेही म्हटलेलं नाहीये. पण हे दर्शन अंतर्दर्शन असतं. अंतरंगामध्ये ते कुठल्याही प्रकाराने, कुठल्याही रूपामध्ये जाणीव करून देऊ शकतात. पण त्यांचं स्वरूप दर्शन होणं हे सर्वात महत्वाचं आहे. आणि ते फक्त सद्गुरु कृपेने आणि स्वामींच्या कृपेने होऊ शकतं. पण असे लोक आहेत, एक साधक आहेत, बेळगावला आहेत, पण त्यांचे नाव सांगण्याची परवानगी नाही आहे. पण म्हणून त्यांची ती घटना फक्त उद्धृत करतो की त्यांच्या सद्गुरु पुण्याला नाना गद्रे होते, त्यांचा उल्लेख अगोदर केलेला आहे. तर त्यांचे पट्टशिष्य श्रीराम उर्फ भाऊसाहेब कुलकर्णी, तर त्यांच्या मार्गदर्शनाखाली काम करणारे, अभ्यास करणारे हे साधक आहेत. आणि त्यांना दादर भागामध्ये, दादरच्या मठाच्या आसपास स्वामींनी दर्शन दिल्याचा त्यांनी अनुभव स्वतः मला सांगितलेला आहे. तर हे दर्शन आपल्याला असं वाटतं की जसे 2 हात, 2 डोळे, 2 पाय आपल्याला आहेत, अशा मानवी रूपामध्ये जेव्हा कोणी दिसतं त्याच वेळेला आपण दर्शन मानतो. पण हे ज्यांना ज्यांना झालेलं आहे त्यांना ते क्षणिक झालेलं आहे. पण जर तुम्हाला सतत त्यांचं दर्शन सुख हवं असेल तर ती किल्ली त्यांनी देऊन ठेवलेली आहे की जो माझ्या सतत स्मरणात आहे, सतत नामात आहे, त्याला त्याच्या जवळ मी आहेच. प्रत्येक क्षणात, प्रत्येक तनात, प्रत्येक मनात स्वामींची उपस्थिती आहे. पण हे चर्मचक्षूंनी दिसणं एवढंच जर तुम्ही दर्शन मानलं तर ते होणं हा फक्त त्यांच्या इच्छेचा आणि कृपेचा भाग आहे. पण ते क्षणिक राहत. पण अंतरचक्षूंना ज्यांना होतं त्यांचं स्वरूप दर्शन ते कायमचं असतं. आणि त्यासाठी संतांनी जो सांगितलेला आहे नामस्मरण युक्त साधना उपासना, हा त्यांच्या दर्शन सुखाचा, शाश्वत दर्शन सुखाचा मार्ग आहे.
धन्यवाद.
विशाल.
Jai Gurudev.
पूजा.
Jai Gurudev. I just wanted to ask that is there any age to learn Shree Rudram, or is there any age to learn Shree Rudram?
श्री रुद्रम शिकायला
Please in English, please.
in English, okay. There is no age limit or bar, no restriction, religion wise, gender wise, otherwise. If that sincere desire is there, at any age one can learn Rudram. And I'm sure you have heard the story of Abhimanyu. You know the name of Abhimanyu?
Arjun's son, Shri Arjun's son.
Baro, yeah, that's right. So while he was in mom's womb, just he
had learned Chakravyuh.
That's
Sorry to
correct.
interrupt.
So if there is a sincere desire for the knowledge, Rudra is our birthright.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the answer. Jai Gurudev.
Jai.
Yeah, Aviral.
हाँ सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि अभी आपने जो है उसमें फ्रीक्वेंसी लेवल की बात की, 200 के जो नीचे जो भी फ्रीक्वेंसी लेवल है उनके जो भी थॉट्स होते हैं वो नीचे वो मतलब नीचे वो होते हैं, तो हमारा फ्रीक्वेंसी लेवल क्या है, 200 से ऊपर है या नीचे है, ये हम कैसे पता लगा सकते हैं? ये क्वेश्चन है।
हाँ, बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न है। खुद के अंदर जाके समझो, पूरा दिन नहीं लेकिन 15 मिनट या आधा घंटा देखेंगे, जस्ट वॉच, आपके खुद का मन को देखिएगा कि कितने विचार आते हैं और किस किस्म के आते हैं। कि जैसे मेरे मन में समझो आपके बारे में बुरे विचार ज्यादा है या किसी के भी बारे में निगेटिव विचार है, उसकी वजह क्या है, डोंट थिंक अबाउट इट, बट क्वालिटी ऑफ थॉट्स को कितने ज्यादा है। अगर क्वालिटी ऑफ थॉट्स पॉजिटिव है कि भाई उसका भला हो, उसको प्रमोशन मिले, उसकी बढ़ती हो जाए, उसकी सेहत अच्छी रहे, ऐसे किस्म के विचार ज्यादा है, तो समझ लेना कि यू you are probably at least close to 200 or above. Lekin there is another facet, the kinesiological testing करके या pendulum से भी पता चल सकता है कि भाई on a level of 1 to 1000 what is my scale. But the best thing is if your mind is vibrating with a peace, harmony and joy, majority of the times you are not below 200.
Okay, sir.
And by doing this Agnihotra, Rudra, meditation, bhajan, etc. consistently, regularly, you will start moving up the ladder.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Shaluji?
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. Yeah, Dr. Hanumante, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation and the talk. It was really good. Honestly, mere sawal ka jawab, you've already answered my question. I wanted to know about the same question that was asked before about the consciousness score. Every day I find that, I can tell that, okay, I'm slipping in my consciousness score. So I wanted to know, how do we, improve it? So I think you mentioned meditation, Shree, Rudram and Agnihotra. So if there's anything else that you can add to it, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
What helps people like me, I can share, besides these practices, constantly guarding the attention and intention. If I am pulled to go and watch a movie, whether on TV or cinema, then I know I'm getting distracted. My energy is getting dissipated in so many different directions, and it may not be constructive. It may not be positive. So if that watching and being guardful, then the guardian angel, so I remember guardian angel, Swami, then automatically the energy of his blessing will start flowing. So while watching, the intention and attention is the one helpful tool we all can tap into to divert the attention towards constructive, uplifting, peaceful, and progressive activities.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Hanumante.
Yeah, thank you.
Ramkrishnan?
जय गुरुदेव हनुमंतेजी.
जय गुरुदेव.
आपण आज आम्हाला अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण माहिती दिलेली आहे स्वामींबद्दल आणि यतिवर स्तवांबद्दल. माझा प्रश्न असा आहे की आपण यतिवर स्तवन रोज म्हणावं किंवा जेव्हा आपण रुद्र म्हणतो त्याच्या आधी म्हणावं?
हे आता तुम्हाला हे जेवढी प्रगती करायची आहे तेवढं तुम्हाला स्वामींच्या जवळ जायचं आहे. त्यासाठी ही सोपी युक्ती आहे आणि तुम्हाला ते आवडत असेल तर हे स्तोत्र केव्हाही म्हणायला हरकत. आम्हाला असे लोक माहित आहेत की ते घराच्या बाहेर पडताना म्हणतात, प्रवासाला जाताना निघतात, ऑफिसला जाताना म्हणताना दिसतात, ऑफिसला महत्वाची मीटिंग सुरू होण्याच्या अगोदर म्हणतात.
एक तऱ्हेचं त्यांना प्रोटेक्शनच आहे.
हो, कारण भवभय दुस्तर निस्तर सत्वर श्री स्वामी हे आणि हे लक्षात ठेवा की ते मी हे सांगितलं नाहीये पण ते इटर्नल फ्रेंड म्हणून इंग्लिश पुस्तकामध्ये लिहिलेलं आहे की आदि शंकराचार्यांनी जे एक वाक्य सांगितलेलं आहे आता मी इथे सांगतो की माम तू वेदन कशन इति अनुक्रोशती भगवान. म्हणजे स्वामी म्हणतात की मी सर्वांना जाणतो, मी सर्व जाणतो, पण मला कोणी जाणत नाही. हे त्यांचं एका प्रकाराने रुदन आहे. तर त्यांना जाणून घेण्यासाठी जर त्यांचं स्मरण तुम्ही केलं तर ते केव्हाही तुम्हाला तत्पर आहे.
बरोबर.
आपण आपल्याला हाक मारायला एखाद्याला वेळ लागेल पण ती हाक मारणं पूर्ण होण्याच्या आत ते उपस्थित असतात.
बरोबर. थँक्यू. जय गुरुदेव. थँक्यू.
जय गुरुदेव.
Nikul?
Yes. Jai Gurudev, Dr. Hanumante.
Jai Gurudev.
My question is that how would you give the importance of sloks and mantras as compared with the meditation? Because if we take an example, or if we talk about any spiritual enlightened people has always emphasized on the meditation practices, one can go into the deeper and can go into the spiritual path for their journey to grow. So how would you give the importance of balancing between the chanting or mantras with the meditation, just being in the silent sitting, or just going deeper into yourself?
Where do you live, Nicole?
I live in Pune.
Oh, okay. So if your destination is New Delhi, you would sit in a train or an airplane, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So our journey is from sound to silence.
Yes.
Silence is the destination, but what spacecraft are you going to use? That is the spacecraft. We have to use the sound, but it is a sacred sound. And there's a sound of divine name. If you are fortunate to get one from a realized master, or the tools that you mentioned, Shree Rudra, or any shlokas, any bhajans, saptashati, etc. These are the purifying tools. These are the ones they do inner surgeries and enable you to land in the zone of immortal bliss and silence. So they are like a spacecraft to go to the moon, or like an airplane takes you and then you leave. So to be able to complete that journey to go within, that is their role.
Okay, thank you. So like mostly when we read anything like it is more on informative or more on knowledge, but at last eventually you are supposed to drop all the knowledge, right, when you are entering into that zone. So how one can realize or one can reach to that stage wherein when one will be able to identify there is maybe certain personalities have gone into that sadhana avastha or into that deep meditation state. So is there any something happens in one's life wherein certain situation arise, or it's gradually the transition happens?
It depends on the intensity with which you want to reach that destination of total silence. But no substitute for sadhana, upasana. It is the journey from sound to silence. So going within, but while going within, there are a lot of hurdles. So like I mentioned biomemories. There are cellular traumas, the negative imprints in the biological field or intracellular. So they need to be removed. They need to be cauterized. They need to be like a surgeon removes any unhealthy part. So the chants descend where these recordings have been kept inside the human body, in the deep inside the sushumna, and these are digital records, so they need to be digitally and surgically removed. So the sounds, sacred sounds from Rudra or the divine name, or like a Saptashati or Saptashloki, they will go and remove certain recordings. And more and more you do, you will start feeling lighter and you will start enjoying that peaceful moment. So which means you are progressing.
Okay. Thank you so much. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Guru.
Yeah, Ranaji.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes, Ranaji, we can hear you.
हेलो
Om Shri.
सर अभी मैंने फर्स्ट डिग्री रेकी लिया है और मेरे मामा जी ना अभी आईसीयू में है, उनको कोरोना बहुत ज्यादा हो गया है, 7 डेज से वो आईसीयू में, उनका ऑक्सीजन लेवल बिल्कुल नहीं आ रहा है.
Yes,
Yeah, we will pray for. Yeah, we'll pray for him. क्या नाम है उनका?
कमलेश राणा.
Okay.
Who is the one asking question? राणा जी. राणा जी, आप ये फोरम में आ रहे हो ना बार बार? आपको पता होगा कि दिगंबरा का मंत्र. हाँ, दिगंबरा का जो मंत्र है,
मेरी आंटी है संध्या.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी. दिगंबरा की जो धुन है उससे हमने प्रस्तावित किया है कि उससे ऑक्सीजन लेवल इमीडिएटली बढ़ती है. आपने सुना होगा, लोगों के मुंह से सुना होगा.
हाँ सर, मैं रोज करती हूँ उसको, रोज करती हूँ.
आप करने से नहीं, वो सुनते हैं कि नहीं वो इम्पोर्टेंट है. अब उनको सुनना जरूरी है.
ओके सर.
उनका सुनना, मंत्र को सुनना उनके लिए जरूरी है. आपका कहना एक बात है, लेकिन उनका सुनना दूसरी बात है. तो हम बार बार वही कहते हैं कि उनके कान में पड़े, ऐसे उनको उसकी सीडी भेजो, उनका पेन ड्राइव पे भेजो, उनके मोबाइल पे भेजो. नहीं, जहां जहां लोगों ने ये सुना है दिगंबरा की धुन, उन्होंने खुद ये किया है कि एक आध दिन में उनके ऑक्सीजन लेवल 74 से लेकर भी 98 तक गई. अगर आप ये जानते हैं तो उनको करना चाहिए, उनको सुनाना बहुत जरूरी है. दिगंबरा की हो या तारक मंत्र का पानी, नहीं, या हमने जैसे कहा अग्निहोत्र की भस्म की मलम, ये तीनों चीजों ने अभी पिछले 10-15 दिन से आप सुनते होंगे कि इमीडिएटली ये बढ़ती हैं. और अभी कल भी आपने सुना होगा कि जिनको 16 लीटर्स का ऑक्सीजन लगता था, वो एक रात में 3-4 लीटर पे आ गया, केवल तारक मंत्र के नाम से. तो ये सारी सिद्धता पेशेंट के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. वहां तक कैसे पहुंचे, कि आज तक कोरोना का चैलेंज था, लेकिन आप इससे कर सकते हैं. अगर उनको सुनाएंगे, आप मोबाइल पे भी सुनाएंगे, उनका सुनना जरूरी है. कि हम हमेशा रेकी में कहते हैं ना, एवरीवन हील्स हिमसेल्फ और हरसेल्फ, वी आर जस्ट अ सपोर्ट. लेकिन उनकी तैयारी होनी चाहिए ठीक होने की, है ना. तो जहाँ जहाँ ये किया गया है, बहुत सारे अच्छे रिजल्ट्स हैं. तो आप जरूर उनको कहना, कि कमलेश जी को कहना कि आप सुनो, तो बहुत फर्क पड़ेगा. बाद में हमें बताना कि क्या हो रहा है. ठीक है ना?
ओके सर.
या थैंक यू सो मच राज. थैंक यू वेरी मच. I hope, Mukund Raji, you have some time. I mean, I don't know whether they will keep on asking the question, but is it okay?
I'm
Is it okay?
I'm
Is it
at
okay?
your disposal.
Yeah. Because he is also a very busy person. So we can't take much of his time.
No,
Again, it's nice of him that he's
yeah,
devoting that time.
yeah, this is Swami's
आप
work.
इतना
So
आप इतना टाइम दे रहे हो, इतने अच्छी तरह से आंसर दे रहे हो उनको, तो वो तो पूछते रहेंगे because they are very inquisitive people.
Sure.
The seekers, so they seek all the time.
Right.
Thank you so much.
भरत जिंजूवाड़िया.
भरत भाई.
नमस्कार, प्रणाम डॉक्टर हनुमंते जी. मेरा सवाल ये है कि do we have a free will or we are bound with a past karma?
बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न उठाया आपने. फ्री विल है इसलिए तो कर्म हो सकता है, और फ्री विल है इसलिए ही कर्म हो गया है. वो अच्छा या बुरा ये बात अलग है. तो अगर उसको उसके मुताबिक प्रारब्ध कर्म आगे आता है, अगर उसको बदलना है तो फ्री विल दिए ही है भगवान ने. तो ऐसा कर्म करे कि ये पुराना कर्म भी मिट जाए या कम हो जाए. तो इसलिए कहते हैं कि यू आर द आर्किटेक्ट ऑफ योर ओन डेस्टिनी. प्लांट द मैंगो गार्डन, तो फिर आम काफी खाने को मिलेंगे.
धन्यवाद, प्रणाम सर. लेकिन मेरा क्वेश्चन ये था कि अगर हमारा प्रारब्ध है तो ही हम आम प्लांटेशन कर सकते हैं ना. अगर प्रारब्ध नहीं है तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं?
आप इंसान को पूरा स्वातंत्र्य दिया है भगवान जी ने. आपको कहानी एक है, महाभारत समय में महाभारत का युद्ध ना होए इसलिए स्वयं भगवान महान शक्तिशाली श्री कृष्ण जी ने 2 या 3 बार दुर्योधन जी से मिलकर समेटने के लिए प्रयत्न किए थे. ये वो तो मालूम है आपको, है ना?
हाँ जी.
तो एक बार तो उन्होंने कह दिया कि 5 गांव क्या सुई के अग्र के ऊपर जितनी जगह है उतनी भी जगह मैं नहीं दे दूंगा. तो एक बार उन्होंने उसको गिरफ्तार करने की कोशिश की तो उसको विराट दर्शन हो गया. लेकिन एक बार वो दुर्योधन अच्छे मूड में थे, और दुर्योधन भी जिसको हम स्मार्ट कहते हैं, वो स्मार्ट खिलाड़ी थे. उनको भी ये अच्छी तरह से पता था कि श्री कृष्ण मानव नहीं है, मानव देह में अवतारी पुरुष है. तो ऐसे स्थिति में जब श्री कृष्ण उनको मिलने के लिए गए तो उस वक्त उन्होंने कहा कि भाई देखो, आप तो सब लोग मानते हैं आपको, आप भगवान है, शक्तिशाली है, तो आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. तो आपकी शक्ति से ही मेरा मन बदल दो तो युद्ध होगा ही नहीं. तो दुर्योधन को लगा कि भाई अभी तो भगवान पकड़ में आ गए. लेकिन उसको ये नहीं पता था कि भगवान किसी का पकड़ में नहीं आते हैं एक्सेप्ट जहां पे भक्ति है. तो भगवान ने मुस्कुराते कहा कि भाई दुर्योधन, मैं हर एक इंसान को मेरा ही अंश है, मैं पूर्ण शक्तिशाली हूं, मुझे कुछ भी करने का हक है, कुछ भी विचार करने का स्वातंत्र है. तो वो सब शक्तियां देके ही मैं हर एक आत्मा को भेजता हूं, वैसे ही आपको ही भेजा है. You have full discretion of your thoughts and action. तो मैं वो वापस लूंगा तो मेरा ही ये हो जाएगा, असूल मिट जाएगा। तो ये बात है, we are free, we have the free will and to take the steps. एक बार समझ में आ गया कि ये जो हुआ है उसका फल कड़वा है, तो वो पेड़ काटने की क्षमता भगवान देते हैं, अगर वो ऐसी इच्छा हो गई तो। क्योंकि एक कहावत है, व्हाट यू आर सीकिंग इज ऑल्सो सीकिंग यू।
धन्यवाद सर, प्रणाम।
कोमल।
जय गुरुदेव।
जय गुरुदेव।
सर, आपने एक छोटे 8 साल के बच्चे की स्टोरी बताई जो गोटा खेलता है, मार्बल खेलता है। तो मेरे 2 क्वेश्चंस थे। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन तो ये था कि जैसे आपने तब स्वामी प्रकट कैसे हुए उसकी स्टोरी बताई, अगर आप स्वामी जो है उनके नाम के पीछे का रहस्य कि स्वामी का नाम स्वामी क्यों है, अगर ये भी शेयर कर सकते हैं तो इट विल बी वेरी नाइस। और दूसरा और एक क्वेश्चन ऐसे था कि हम कहते हैं कि जो भी होता है भगवान की इच्छा से होता है। जैसे अभी फॉर एग्जांपल कोरोना सिचुएशन है, तो इट हैज समवेयर कम, इट कुड बी अ डिवाइन प्लान। तो हम ये जो अभी प्रिस्क्रिप्शन की बात कर रहे हैं या संकल्प की बात करते हैं, तो जब डिवाइन प्लान ही ये है तो फिर ये प्रिस्क्रिप्शन क्यों?
ये देखिए, ये दोनों बताने के लिए 2-2 घंटे भी कम हो गए, तो इसमें से कौन सा प्रश्न ले लूं?
कि स्वामी का नाम।
हाँ, तो आपने ये फतेह की बात की है, यू आर वेरी ब्लेस्ड सोल। सो स्वामी, you mean to say उनका नाम जो है पूरा अक्कलकोट स्वामी उनको कहते हैं, ऐसा नाम क्यों पड़ा, राइट?
जी हाँ।
हाँ, तो देखिएगा, जब उनका अवतार शुरू हो गया तो उनका नाम तो स्वामी नहीं था, अक्कलकोट भी नहीं था, वो तो हस्तिनापुर के पास छेली खेड़ा में प्रकट हो गए। तो उनका कार्य फिर पूरे विश्व भर था। फिर भारत में आकर 1856 में 1856 AD he settled in Akkalkot, which is was a small kingdom in Sholapur district of Maharashtra. So when he settled there, he stayed for almost 20 years, 22 years. So when he settled, लोग वहां पे आकर दर्शन करते हैं, फिर उनके अनेक समस्याएं दूर होने लगी। तो फिर गांव वाले लोग तो क्या बोलते हैं, अरे कोई महंत कहेगा भाई ये बड़े महंत है, या कोई कहेगा ये साधु है, ये महाराज है, तो फिर उनको साधु कैसे कहे, तो स्वामी महाराज कहे। तो ऐसा हो गया। तो उसके बाद में जब उनका ये महत्व आसपास के राज्यों में, शहरों में फैल गया, तो समझो आप बड़ौदा से है या कोई उत्तर प्रदेश से है, उस वक्त के जमाने में आके मिलते थे, उनके भी काम होने लगे। ब्रिटिशर्स भी आते थे, वो बम गार्डन का स्टोरी बहुत फेमस है। तो समझो नागपुर से फिर मैं आके उस जमाने में उनके दर्शन करके वापस जाऊंगा, तो फिर मैं भी कहूंगा कि भाई मैं भी गया था अक्कलकोट, तो वो बड़े मशहूर है, तो समर्थ है। समर्थ मीन्स पावरफुल। तो फिर आप कहाँ गए थे? अक्कलकोट। अच्छा, तो वो अक्कलकोट स्वामी समर्थ है, ऐसे हो गया। लेकिन आप जो जानना चाहते हैं, ये कृपा से आपने सवाल किया है, उनकी ही प्रेरणा से आपने पूछा है कि ये रहस्य आध्यात्मिक फॉर्मूला भी आपको बताएगा। अब क्योंकि पहले मैं एक कहानी आपको सुनाता हूँ। उस जमाने में एक सैयद बोल के इस्लामिक स्कॉलर था हैदराबाद से। वो सदगुरु के लिए बहुत प्यासे थे। तो ऐसे इधर उधर जाके किसी ने बताया कि भाई अक्कलकोट में आओ, आपका काम हो जाएगा। तो वो आ गया। जब अक्कलकोट स्वामी एक देशमुख के यहाँ बैठे थे, तो वो अंदर आ गया और उसने उनको ही पूछा, वो खड़े थे, कि भाई अक्कलकोट स्वामी कहाँ है। तो उस वक्त स्वामी जी ने जो उत्तर दिया वो आप जानना चाहती है। उन्होंने कहा, अक्कल से खुदा पहचानो। स्वामी तो अक्कलकोट में है। तो ऐसा कहने से वो सैयद की महासमाधि लग गई। यानी वो जो प्यासा था उसकी प्यास बुझ गई। इसका अर्थ ये है कि अक्कल कहाँ है? कि अपने हेड में है। तो और गुरु तत्व का वास्तव्य आज्ञा चक्र और उसके ऊपर है। यानी अक्कलकोट का क्या हो गया? अक्कलकोट टाइनी किंगडम, एक शहर, छोटा सा शहर है, गांव है, लेकिन हर एक बंदा अक्कलकोट है। उसका अक्कलकोट उसके पास ही है। तो फिर स्वामी जी ने खुद ने कहा, अक्कल से खुदा पहचानो। You will get me by using the intellect. Intellect means क्या कि one that is very purified. And जो पहले वाले जो पूछ रहे थे कि भाई ध्यान करे कैसे, तो वो खुद के अंदर जब प्रवास, अंदर का प्रवास शुरू होता है, तो वो जैसी जैसी शुद्धता होती है, तो फिर जहां पे उनका वास्तव है आज्ञा चक्र में, वहां तक पहुंचते हैं। और वो ही इज दैट इटर्नल illuminating serene bliss and joy. इसलिए वो फिर नाम in literal sense and in real sense वो अक्कलकोट में ही है. He is portable. So that's why you can become a portable paradise of peace.
थैंक यू मुकुंदा जी।
थैंक यू।
मुकुंदा जी, आणि एक मैंने स्वामी के चरित्र में पढ़ा था, ये स्वामी समर्थ नाम कैसे आया। श्री माणिक प्रभु के सामने स्वामी थे, दोनों कुछ बातें कर रहे थे, बाबा सबनीस अक्कलकोट के वहां पे आ गए, और बाबा सबनीस को इंट्रोड्यूस करते समय माणिक प्रभु ने कहा कि ये स्वामी समर्थ है। दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम इट इज रिकॉर्डेड एज अ स्वामी समर्थ। Till that time probably he was nameless, or maybe he was called by different names. But it is said in that story, in the Charitra, माणिक प्रभु ने ये नाम एक्चुअली श्री स्वामी समर्थ उस टाइम पहली बार उच्चार किया, एंड दैट इज देयरआफ्टर बाबा सबनी स्प्रेड दिस नेम थ्रूआउट अक्कलकोट। और बहुत सारे नाम स्वामी जी के दिए हैं। स्वामी को दिगंबर दास है, चैतन्य महाराज है। I heard that there are a number of names Swami was known at the same time. But somewhere, I mean, one बकर लिखने वाले बोलते हैं स्वामी समर्थ नाम came from Manik Prabhu ji when he introduced him to Baba Sabnis.
बरोबर है। कारण
that was the first time it was recorded as Sri Swami Samarth. He introduced, ये स्वामी समर्थ है, and he will come to Akkalkot when the time is appropriate. So thank you very much for that.
Sure.
I think somebody wants you to answer the second question. She had two questions, right?
No, we will take that second question some other time. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Because it is a lot of philosophy. So that's why it is better we just do our part and let him do, who is in charge of everything, do his part. Only thing I will say, so one seeker asked him a question, just like we are looking at each other. He looked at his photograph. For him, that was not photograph, but Swami in the form of a picture. Swami, my mind is cannot fathom how do you manage so many galaxies. Forget about galaxies, how many manage just like 7.2 billion human beings and countless insects and animals and plants on this earth. He replied swiftly, those who look at me, I look at them. Those who look at me, I look at them. The rest are looked upon by their karmas. So that is that's why we constantly have to be anchored in him.
Thank you so much for a lovely session, Mukund. It was our pleasure, and I think probably it will go on and on. Everybody thinks that we should be spending more time with you, but I think there will be times again. There will be some opportunities to come, and we look forward to having your blessings. It was a big blessing for all of us, your presence. Okay.
Well,
blessings sent by Swami.
We are the ones, myself and my wife, who have been blessed, and it is his will. And if anything useful was said, it is at his teleprompting.
Yeah, I think anybody who is blessed by Swami himself or herself is a blessing to the world. Swami is in his blessings, right? Thank you so much for spending time, and look forward to seeing you again. And I'm sure that you're already a part of our family. So
sure,
you're most welcome all the time. So thank you very much on behalf of everybody. Om Shri Swami. Jai Gurudev. Vishal, shall we chant Om 3 times and close the session? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anantakoti Brahmanda Nayaka Rajadiraj Yogiraj Sachidananda Sadguru Shri Swami Samartha Maharaj Ki Jai Avadhuta Chintana Shri Gurudev Datta Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadev. Thank you so much, and it was a lovely evening for us. Thank you, Mukund. See you again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Vishal.
Okay, I will end the meeting, sir.